Hi ladies, this is Susan Petty Baylor. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. We're going to be making this card today. This is a card kit that's going to contain enough envelopes and pre-cut supplies to make 6 cards. The cost is $20 to pick up at my door, or if you like, I can mail it to you. And shipping is extra. I will provide the supplies. You'll have this video so you can stamp along with me. You just provide the stamp and the ink. These cards are designed to be used with most any occasion. You can use it for birthday, anniversary, graduation, congratulations, thinking of you, anything that you'd like. So this is the card we're going to be making. I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to go over the supplies that you're going to need. Now, mind you, this will, in your kit, this will all come pre-cut, pre-scored, pre-punched. But if you were to do this on your own another time, this is what you would need. You'll need a card base that's cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And you ladies, remember that when you're folding your card base, you want your mountain inside the fold so that when you fold and burnish, you have much less chance of any kind of cracking or splitting along the spine of your card. Okay, so that's the card base. You have one piece of Whisper White cut at 5 by 3 1/4. That's going to be for your card front. You have one piece of Whisper White cut 5 by 3 3/4. And that's going to be for the inside of your card so that you can write. Okay. And then you're going to need 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. This is paper from the Garden Impressions 6 by 6 Designer Series paper stack. These are all coordinating papers. There are lots of different colors in this paper stack. So I took 3 colors, or 3 different patterns. You can actually use either side, whatever you like. And these are cut 1.5 inches by 3 inches long. And then you're going to also, if you were doing this on your own, you would need a scrap of cardstock that would match the color of your card base. This is Pacific Point. In your kit, you're going to have this label punch. This is the story label punch. And you're also going to have a white story label punch for your sentiment. And this punch size is, I liked it. I used it because it's got a nice little curve. This is more of a feminine design card with all the flowers and colors. And so I liked the kind of curvy edges of this. But there are lots of other punches that would also work. So when you're making this card, let's see, I'm going to use my silicone mat. And I love this. It keeps my work surface nice and clean and sticky free. With this, your adhesive just rolls right off. Nothing sticks to it. Liquid glue, tape runner, hot glue, none of it sticks. So I'm going to take these pieces and I'm going to arrange them the way I want them. I think I'm going to put them like this. And then when you're putting this card together, I would suggest starting with your Designer Series paper on one side. You want to glue it down so you've got about 1/8 of an inch on these 3 sides. Take your second piece and do the same on this side so that there's about 1/8 of an inch of a border on 3 sides. And then you're going to end with your center piece of Designer Series paper. Glue that down, and that way you can put it right in the middle and get the the border between all the pieces to be relatively equal. And with the beauty of television, I have that glued down for you already. The other thing your kit is going to include is some ribbon. I have a couple of different colors. I've got 2 pieces of ribbon about 7 inches each, and we're going to just put a little tape in the middle of the back of your card, and then you're going to take your ribbon, and you want it, or I have it about it in the middle. So you're going to stick it down to that tape on the back on one side, line it up, and then stick it down on the back. That doesn't look very straight, does it? Let's just rearrange that a little bit. You know I usually use liquid glue. That's my preference of glue, but for something like this, so I'm not having to stand here and hold the ribbon and wait for it to dry, I like to use tape runner or double-sided tape, something like that. Okay. Next step is to glue your card front. Put a little extra glue on that ribbon so that it holds. I'm going to center this on the card front like so. So you've got about equal distance between the 2 sides, whoops, sorry, and top to bottom. I'm just going to glue that down. And then I have, let me set that aside. I have this stamp. I'm going to make this a birthday card. This says for your birthday. This is a stamp from the Birthday Cheer stamp set. It is retired, as is most of what I'm using today, unfortunately. So I'm just going to stamp, I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. You could, if I was doing this and I had lots of colors to pick from, you could also stamp your sentiment in some other coordinating color. You could use Pacific Point, which would match your background. You could use Melon Mambo, which is the color of the ribbon. But Memento Black, any kind of black ink that you have, stamp whatever sentiment you like right in the center of the punch. Let me just cover up that ink pad so I don't put my fingers in it. And then you're going to take the enclosed matching story label and you're going to cut this in half right across the middle. And I'm going to use just a little bit of tape runner again. Could use liquid glue, but this will be quicker and less messy for you to watch. And I'm just going to match up the edges, just leave a little bit of a border on the bottom and the top. And I'm going to try to leave the same amount of border. Whoops. And then you have a nice border around your sentiment. You can glue that directly onto your card front like that, or I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals. And anytime there's ribbon across the center, I want to make sure that I have dimensionals top and above and below the ribbon, so that if it's sticking to the ribbon, the label would move around. So this way, the label is not going to move. It'll be nice and secure. And because this is a larger label, I'm going to use dimensionals on the 2 sides also. I'm just going to put that right across the middle. And then I tied this bow before you joined me. And I'm just going to use a glue dot. And I'll put that on right there. when you get your ribbon, it will be cut in 7-inch pieces. Usually when I tie a bow, I do it with my ribbon still on the spool. And just make a loop, go around, pull this one through. And then one of the important things about tying a good bow is when you've got those loops, give them a really good tug, make them as tight as you can. And then you're gonna squeeze the knot between your forefinger and your thumb. And then, of course, my fingers are all gluey. It's not wanting to go. Okay. And then you're going to pull until your loops are the size that you want them. And let's see, we'll get this one a little bit smaller. And always retighten it so that it doesn't come apart. And then you're just going to take your scissors and trim your ends. And you have your bow, and you just, play with it until you get it the way you want it. Just have to fuss with it a little bit. Okay, like so. And then you've got a nice little ribbon, or rather a nice little bow to put on your card front, and you're good to go. And then I have the inside piece. You're just gonna glue that down on the inside, and you can take, I'm going to include some strips, 1/4-inch strips. They're 6 inches by 1/4, and you can either use them to decorate the inside of your card. You could, glue a strip down here and cut it off, obviously before you glue it onto here, or you could put it on this side, or you could take a piece of designer paper and put it across the flap of your card, just glue it down, and then take your scissors and trim the excess, and then you have a decorated envelope. So whichever you like, you can do either one. And any of these designer papers would look great on the envelope, or like I said, on the inside of your card. So that is the card that you'll be making. And again, the kit will contain 6 card bases, all different colors, and 18 pieces of designer series paper. I think there's about 6 or 7 different patterns, and you've got both sides of the pattern, so you've got lots of choices. Just mix and match, change it up however you like it. But that's it.